breaks for that community. As the police chief said, sad day for Madison, a sad day for the country. Trace, to get an update in real time, the number moved to 5. 5 people lost their lives today. In that number, including the shooter, identified as a juvenile, and a student at that school. 7 transported to the area hospital. The 5 dead is included in that number. We await another update about an hour from now. Shooting happened 10:57 a.m. Officers responded to the scene. Multiple gunshot victims, as we now know how that ended. He talked a lot about the preparation, Trace, that their police teams have been. They were in current police training, medic training. For a shooting like this, a multiple shooting, a school shooting like this. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who is doing this. Our heart breaks, as the chief said, his heart is heavy. He's also a father in that community, Trace.
Yeah, and the numbers change. As you saw, the PIO came out and gave the final numbers, which is, to this point, 5 deceased, 5 injured. We assume the 5 were taken to a hospital. If there's any bright spot in all of this, there are 2 level 1 trauma centers within just a few miles of that campus. And so we have learned over the years that if you have school shootings, that these people who are taken to level 1 trauma centers very quickly, for the most part, they tend to survive these shootings. It was interesting because the police chief pointed out very clearly there that the police came in and found the shooter dead, indicating that this was likely a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But again, they won't tell us any kind of breakdown. He's not giving any kind of information on who exactly was injured and who exactly was killed until all of these families are notified. You can tell, and they've given us information about the Unification Center. Parents are being told to go to a certain area, and then the students will be released. And the police chief made it very clear that they're going to go through very methodically. They're doing a couple of different checks. They're bringing the bomb dogs out. They're going to go to the cars. We don't know how old this juvenile was. If this juvenile was able to drive, that car would be a huge focus point of what's going on there. But they're going to go through all of the cars, all of the rooms, the attic space, the storage rooms, you name it. They will go through inch by inch, foot by foot before they clear this area, Sandra. And it's interesting that we have come to a point where we have covered so many of these things over the years that the protocols have all become kind of on the same page. And you saw the sheriff kind of reiterate that this is the way it's done. They go in. In this case, they went in and they found the shooter had already been neutralized. He was dead. And, you know, you go through and you look at the police perimeter here and the posture, as we were saying earlier, that they believe that this thing is over, but they are double and triple checking to make sure.
So we did just get an update from our command post. 5 deceased at this time, 5 injured.
So a total of 10.
You know what
So a total of 10.
Again, this is a ever evolving situation. You know, just hearing that.
Breaking news that just happened. There's been a mass shooting at a K-12 school in Wisconsin. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything but the shooter. I don't know how many people were shot. I don't know anything. All I know is this just happened. Pray for these people. Crazy times.
So there was just a second press conference, and we have an update on the Madison, Wisconsin school shooting. What I can tell you is that it was at the Abundant Life Christian School, which is a school that does K through 12 and has about 390 students, 200 families. Initially, 3 people were reported dead, including the shooter. That number then went to 5, but that number was not correct, and the Madison PD walked it back to 3. Of the 3 people who are dead, you have the shooter, and I'm going to come back to that person in a moment. You have a teacher, and you have a teenage boy. In addition to the 3 people total that are dead, you had 6 people taken to the hospital. 2 of those people are in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. We don't have any information on those people at this point in time. 4 others were taken and have injuries, but they are not considered to be life-threatening. Now, going back to the shooter, they have not released the name, gender, or information about that person. Here's what I can tell you. There's been a rumor going around saying that it is a 17-year-old female. I don't know whether that's true or not true. All I can tell you is that that has not been confirmed at this point in time. So if you hear that, know that it is not confirmed information. Currently, the motive is unknown, but police are working on obtaining search warrants so they can learn more about this event, more about the person, and hopefully we'll have another update here shortly. Here's the last thing I want to say. These types of events are terrible. They're awful. And for a few of these families, instead of planning holidays and Christmas, they're now planning funerals. Lastly, I have a message for other creators. I will never tell you what to do on your platform, but eventually we will know the name and photo of the person that is responsible for this. I am choosing not to show them. I'm choosing not to use them by their name. I will just call them the shooter. I would encourage my fellow creators to not give this person any infamy and only show the pictures of the victims because that's who matters, not this individual. Again, it's your platform. Do what you want. It's only a suggestion.
Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly. We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported. What we know is that a total of about 7 persons were transported from the scene to area hospitals for treatment.
Officials in Madison, Wisconsin are speaking to reporters right now at a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin, the scene of an apparent school shooting. Let's listen.
We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported. What we know is that a total of about 7 persons were transported from the scene to area hospitals for treatment.
This is the girl who was responsible for the school shooting in Wisconsin who took 2 people's lives and injured 6 others. We don't have an update for the 6 that are in critical condition, but we do know now why she did this. She thought that it would make her famous. She had been posting on X leading up until the shooting. She was obsessed with true crime and even uploaded a manifesto to Google Documents, leaving behind her story, but she set it to private. She left a link, but nobody could get into it as of now. And people are saying her name is Samantha, but it's actually Natalie. She just used Samantha online. One of the sad things is she's an extreme feminist and an advocate for the extermination of every male, from like babies till elderly. Because of her infatuation with true crime, she thought she would leave behind her mark, probably hoping to end up a famous killer. This is just a snippet from her manifesto, and it goes on to basically state her disdain for men and how women have to beg for men's approval and validation. But what do you guys think about this?
So I Googled the word school shooting today, and this came up. This is today for me. Abundant Life Christian school shooting in Madison. Teen student teacher killed, 6 students hurt. Ugh. Condolences, thoughts and prayers. This is horrible. Here's the story of how long this is going to last in the news cycle. 1 week. For 20 years, I did a little research because I was making a video where I was going to flippantly talk about how the CEO shooting has already lasted longer in the news cycle than this story will. And then I realized I shouldn't just say an opinion. I should look it up and research it. So I researched it, and luckily enough, somebody's actually done all of the statistical research. And so I was right when I said 1 week. Generally, there's the first story that comes out that is the day of, this is what happened. Then over the coming week, we're going to get stories about the victims of the shooting. And then at the very end of the cycle, at the end of the week, they're going to tell us about the person who did the shooting. And then they're never going to mention it again. And I'm just real curious about what they want us to be paying attention to and what they don't want us to be paying attention to. The news cycle is a choice. It's a choice to stop saying, hey, this is happening. Hey, this is happening. I feel like that these stories shouldn't leave the news. They, in fact, should be told over and over and over again. Hey, remember what happened last week? Hey, remember what happened last month? Hey, remember what's been happening all year long? Because it keeps on happening, and that's the story.
Have you guys seen the connection between Columbine and then what just happened today in Wisconsin? Today in Madison, Wisconsin, at Abundant Life Christian School, there was 3 people that were left to pass away. Obviously not going to read the headline because TikTok will ban this video. This is being alleged as the person that did the act of violence. There's a lot of rumors about who she is, but I'm going to wait to see what the press conference has to say. But here's a crazy coincidence, if you can call it that. Pay attention to her shirt. How this ties her back to the 2 people that did the Columbine, you know what, over 20 years ago. A quick Google image search of Eric Harris and Dylan Claiborne. Does this shirt look familiar? It's the same shirt that she posted at some point on her social media. And this is the second person that caused the act of violence at Columbine. Pay attention to the letters on his t-shirt that says KMFDM. What does this shirt say? KMFDM. This is her ex account, and what is interesting about this is that she just barely started this account December of 2024, and the last image she posted 6 hours ago was the 666 sign in the bathroom. I don't believe in coincidences, and I believe everything's done intentionally. So what are your guys' thoughts with this connection?
All right, here's what we know, and here's the most recent news about the incident that happened today at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. Let's talk about it. A small Christian school was left mourning after 1 teacher and 1 student was left deceased, and 6 others rushed to the hospital with serious injuries just days before the school was going to be released for holidays. And out of the 6, 2 of them are life-threatening injuries and they are in critical condition as of right now. Police got the call around 10:57 and rushed over immediately. Coincidentally, police were actually training not too far away for a similar situation. After the attack on Abundant Life Christian School today, the total number this year of incidences happening in schools is 83. That surpasses the 2023 year total. So I'll leave you with this. If you had the power and you can make change, which I think everyone can, what would you do to stop these things from happening? Comment down below. I like to hear from everybody and I'll reply back to as many as I can. Talk to you guys later.
There's been a lot of updates in the Madison, Wisconsin school shooting. So now it's being said that the shooter was a 17-year-old female. And in my opinion, I think this is the first time we hear of a female shooter, right? Or am I wrong? A lot of content creators had said, hey, we're not going to talk about the person. We're not going to put the picture. We're not going to give their name. But in my opinion, the fact that it's a 17-year-old female, it kind of changes things a little bit, right? Am I wrong? There's conflicting information of how many victims there are. First it was 5, now it's 4. Now Madison police said that they did identify the weapon. Gunfire was confined to one space. And it didn't say, they didn't say if it was a classroom or somewhere else, but they do have the weapon that was used for this. And of course, the schools nearby are implementing extra security measures. And it says this is a really small school. It was a private school, which I hope it kind of brings attention to the politicians that no school is safe. It's a public school, it's a private school. No school is safe from stuff like this. That they only have 390 students. That's a really, really small school. And unfortunately, this was going to be their last week before holiday break. Now, they haven't found out what's the motive. It's still really early on into the investigation, so that's still up in the air. But as soon as the updates come up, I'll keep you guys informed. And what do you guys think about it being a female shooter? That threw me off guard, to be honest with you.
Hey players, unfortunately we had another tragedy to occur today at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. A teacher and a student are now deceased, as well as the juvenile female that committed this heinous act. Let's talk about it. So according to reporting, police officers responded at around 10:57 a.m. to a call of an active situation at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, this is a private Christian school home to 230 kindergarten through 12 students, and they share their 28-acre campus with the city church and the Campus for Kids, which cares for infants and pre-kindergarten children. Now, when police officers arrived on the scene, they found a very active situation, and they eventually located 6 people that were wounded, as well as a teenage student and a teacher that were fatally shot. Police officers eventually located the female suspect, who is 17 years old and also a student at Abundant Life. Now, she was deceased at the scene. They have not identified this person by name, nor did they provide a manner of death or a possible motive. So currently we have 2 students that were injured who are listed in critical condition, and 4 others that are recovering from non-life-threatening injuries. Now, hours after the shooting, President Biden once again pressed Congress to pass gun reform legislation, including universal background checks and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. He said, and I quote, "From Newtown to Uvalde, Parkland to Madison, to so many other shootings that don't receive attention, it is unacceptable that we are unable to protect our children from this scourge of gun violence. We cannot continue to accept this as normal." So as of right now, the female juvenile that is allegedly responsible for this incident has been identified by internet sleuths. However, y'all know I'm not going to put that information out there until I know for 100% fact. And as of right now, authorities have not named this person at all. So I'm not going to be able to provide that information as of right now until it is confirmed by authorities. You know, players, at the end of these videos, I usually say how many more, but to me that seems redundant at this point, because to ask how many more, it means that eventually someone somewhere is going to do something about this situation. And we all know that, especially over the next 4 years, nothing is going to happen to strengthen weapon laws. We know that. All I can do, and I know that this is something that people are tired of hearing, but I have to extend my condolences to the families of the ones that were lost. It's right before Christmas time. This is absolutely so horrific. And then I also have to send a speedy recovery to the ones that were injured, and also send my love and positive vibes to the entire community as a whole. When a situation like this occurs, it not only impacts the people who were there, it also impacts the entire community. So players, put your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you guys updated on this. This is Double D Mo for the Black Hit News.
Hello, you guys. I know you guys heard, or probably heard, about the school shooting that happened yesterday around 10:57 a.m. in Madison, Wisconsin. It was breaking all over. And as I was going to look up another, let's say, like a celebrity or something, just to do something fun for the day because I was bored, I saw this on the news, and it said breaking school shooting at Abundant Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. And I'm like, oh, hey, another school shooting. And then it took me back to, that famous school shooting. It's not famous when everybody knows Columbine. So as I was waiting for updates and everything, I went back and I did a little bit of research on Columbine. And so when I went back, they said it was like hours later, probably like 3-4 hours later, they found that the shooter was a female. And they said she was a female. She was 17. I don't know if the clip is in there, but she was doing like a six hand sign in the bathroom before she went and pew the school. Okay. They're still trying to find a motive of why she would do this before they would get out of school for Christmas break. It really ruffles feathers because I know there's school shootings that we don't hear about every day. Okay. But here we haven't heard one probably in a couple of years. So I gathered some information last night before I went to bed. And they said 5 dead, 5 injured, a teacher and some students. So I said, okay, watching every video, trying to piece the puzzle together, which I didn't do correctly. As you guys can see in the video, I didn't piece anything together correctly. So I went and did some research because I was very curious about the girl's name. Very curious. Because this is the first time that I heard of a female school shooter, in my opinion, because most of the research I've done, they're all boys. So this is what I found. So what I found was that six people are injured, a teacher is dead, and that 5 are dead. Right, but one says a teacher is dead, and another source says that another student is dead, and 6 are injured. A teacher and a student were released Monday evening from the hospital because they weren't really serious. One source said that a okay, you guys. I'm just gonna start over because I forgot where I left off. Okay, basically, they said she was a 17-year-old. So I wanted to just do some research. Come to find out, she was 15 years old. Her name is Natalie Natalie Rupnow, and she goes by Samantha. So she had a 9mm handgun, and that's what she took to pew people, and she pewed 6 people in the in the study hall of the school. And then the source said that they found her with a self-inflicted gun wound. You guys, this is sad. This is sad. You know how they say that people don't want to go out alone? And I think this is one of these cases. But I'm going to keep you guys updated because this is super sad. But thank God she didn't go after the babies. But hell, who knows? I don't know who she went after. No names got released. No nothing. So once I found that out, I'm going to put that out. Um, this is probably another case of children taking parents' guns or somebody buying them guns. And one lady pointed out the shirt because I guess she was trying to do a comparison to Columbine. Has no comparison to Columbine, baby. No comparison. Just because you have the same shirt as somebody else does not mean it's connected. No. I have the same shirt like hundreds of other people, and I'm not connected to no crimes that they committed. Okay, no. But this this is this is a very sad that people have to lose their lives around Christmas time. It's sad if anybody loses their lives any day, but especially around this time when it's supposed to be full of love, cheer, and happiness. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a talking head. Have a great day, YouTube.